So for question number 9, we're dealing with conformations, or the most stable conformations for the molecule provided, right? So the first thing I did when I tried to solve this is make sure that these are actually valid drawings, meaning, are these even representing this molecule, right? Because that'll help us to eliminate stuff, and the chances are good that not all of these are going to be drawings for the same molecule, right? So what I did is I looked at the pattern. I said to myself, okay, what does he have here? He has a methyl and an ethyl on one carbon and then a methyl on the other. So yeah, I could see that. See how this carbon here, let's say this red carbon here, it has a methyl and an ethyl. Like let's say we're going to cite between the left or right. It doesn't matter. It's symmetrical. So let's say we cite like right there. So if we cite between the blue and the red here, or if we did it this way, it's the same thing, right? It's symmetrical. So here. This red carbon has a methyl and an ethyl, and then the blue carbon has a methyl. So that works. This could be a drawing, right? Same thing here. Methyl, and then in the back it's methyl and ethyl. So we have that. Here it's methyl, and in the back is methyl ethyl. Good. But here's weird. This is 2 methyls on one carbon. There is no carbon with 2 methyls on it, right? I don't see any carbon here with 2 methyls. This can't be the answer. It doesn't have the right structure. See, look, here's one carbon that has an ethyl touching it, right? There is no carbon that just has an ethyl. The carbon that has ethyl also has methyl, right? So this doesn't work. Same thing here and the same thing there, because we just don't have that pattern of 2 methyls on the same carbon, or the one ethyl by itself. So you see, we just got rid of C, D, and E, D, E, and F. They're gone. And now it's down to these 3. See how easy that was? Okay, I hope that's clear. Always do that. Look at the branches and make sure you look at your structure and see if it matches up, the logic. All right, now what do we do? Well, now it comes down to whether we know, number one, that staggered is more stable than eclipse, right? So let's see if we can work that logic. And unfortunately, no, because every one of these is staggered, right? Remember, staggered is where everything is spread out, whereas eclipse is where everything's on top of each other like that. So there is no, this is a horrible staggered. There is nothing but staggered provided, right? So all 3 of these are staggered because they have it, everybody spread out. So then you say, well, within staggered, less gouache is best, and if you need to gouache big with small, not big with big. So if you have to gouache, then you should gouache big things with small things. Okay, so let's look at that. So here we have one gouache between the methyl and the ethyl. That's it. Because remember, gouache only happens with a big group next to another big group, but not next to H's. So this has one gouache, right? This one has a gouache here, one gouache. Okay, and this one has 2 gouaches, right? Here's one gouache between those 2, and then another gouache between that. So this has 2 gouache. So which one is the worst? C, it's out. C does not make any sense. It's not more stable. So we'd rather have one gouache than 2 gouaches. But now, if you're going to have one gouache, should it be between a big and a small? Or should it be between 2 small, right? Methyls are smaller than ethyl. So big with small? Well, actually, okay, or the other possible is small with small, right? So I guess the way I wrote this is a little misleading. Big with small, yeah, if you have to have a big gouache, right? So let me write, big with small is better than big with big. That, I guess that's the full logic to think about, right? So big with small is better than big with big. But if we can do small with small, that's best, right? So your ultimate goal is to make sure the biggest one is avoiding gouache. And that's what happens in this, where is it? In this one here. The ethyl, the biggest one of all, has no gouache with anybody. So B is the best, right? So here you have one gouache each, but this has a big with a small. That's not as good as small with small, right? So this one wins. I guess that I maybe wrote this wrong to begin, but now it should be clear. So gauche, big with small, is better than big with big.